Welcome to this new series that the Malaysian Dietary Supplement Association has created, known as Natural Health with Nutrition and Supplements. And today, I have a very interesting company, a Malaysian company that has an interesting background and a founder with an equally interesting background as well. And before we start this discussion, please subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon so that every new video that we bring about, that we release to transform your health, you will get notification first before anybody else. And with that, I would like to introduce my guest today. His name is Engineer Lee Sweat Sen. And Engineer Lee, why don't you come aboard and tell us about, give us a little bit about your background, Lee.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks, Matsa, for inviting me as a series speaker or so-called forum sharer. This is an honor. BE International feel very honored because we are a new company. We are just a 3 years old company, and of course, it's a good opportunity for us to share with our insight about what we are bringing to the society about health and wellness. So today, I hope that I can share as much as I can, and depends on James how many questions James is going to ask me. I will do my best to let everybody know more details about BE or even our good products. If you want to know more, then of course James know where to refer you to as well.
Thank you, Lee. Lee, as I see your background now, and you were pronouncing the name of the company. Is it BE International or B International?
It's BE International.
BE International.
Yes.
Thank you. And does your logo mean something? That's an interesting circle that you have there.
Right. Actually, BE International, B stand for beyond, E stand for eternity. Actually, we want to it's about beyond eternity. So when we state BE, it means that anything we are going to do in BE is must be able to last forever and last longer beyond the eternity. And the logo, you can see that actually is a sun that evolving with a rays surrounding it. So it's like a moving sun. So we're talking about it's something that everlasting. It's always continuous. It's perpetually going on for ages, for decades to come. So it's what beyond eternity with the logo looks like. It looks like a sun.
All right, that's an interesting take there, Lee. I wouldn't have guessed that it was the sun actually, and the name is really really very unique, beyond eternity. So it sounds like a legacy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And also from your name, Lee, I am guessing that you operate outside of Malaysia as well.
Yeah.
Which are the countries that you currently have a presence in?
If we're talking about currently that we have put our foot on the soil of the country, we have currently in Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, and Hong Kong, and we are going to Indonesia in the second quarter of this year. Of course, there are many other countries, people, they are actually using our products. You can say that there are people from Taiwan, there are people from Korea, there are people from Europe, there are people from USA, even Northern America, Southern America, India, Australia. Actually, got people using our products. Of course, they are not because we are not in we're not present there. So, but we do have their nationality because when we do the registration, we do ask for the nationality. So, if you're talking about how many countries we go in by nationality, we have about 90 countries.
Okay, 90 countries. So it looks like. Right. So it looks like you are not just beyond eternity, Lee. It looks like you're also beyond borders as well.
I mean that now the world is borderless because people can easily through the webs, through the social media to understand what is our company offering. And then when they find it as a product is inspiring and the product is very promising, there are people that will tend to start to try the products.
All right. Okay. So I'll probably come back to that,
Yeah.
Lee, later on about accessing your product, and also besides you being an interesting personality and your company with being an interesting Malaysian brand or organization, we are going to be talking about an interesting product that you have as well, with an interesting name. It is Shiruto. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, yeah, you have pronounced correctly.
Okay, Shiruto. And it sounds Japanese, so without giving away too much, does the name have a meaning?
Yeah, actually, Shiroto itself, the name, if you think you talk about you pronounce Shiroto the time, the shi is sound like shield, a shield that going to defend yourself, the shield. And actually, if you go to Japanese word, it's about almost the same. It's called Shiroto, Shirudo. It's also meaning of shield as well. So we find this product is very good for immune system, which is the shield of our body. So we name it as a Shiroto. That's why you can actually relate it very directly to what the product can give you.
Right. I'm sure. I mean, you mentioned the word immune and immunity. I'm sure a lot of people around the world, not just in Malaysia, because of COVID-19, maybe in their mind, immune and immunity is the first thing they are thinking about. So if you could just tell us briefly, Lee,
Mm.
what is special about Shiruto? What does it do? What are the ingredients? Of course, you don't have to reveal any confidential or secret, information. But how does it work to, build the immunity?
Actually, Shiroto is a functional food. First thing we have to, it's a functional food and formulated with a unique and highly effective active ingredients called IPPA1. IPPA1. And synergize nutrients such as a vitamin C and a beta glucan. So these three things together, it actually enhance our natural immunity. Is the IPPA1 is extract from the fermented wheat. If you are well aware the wheat, the fermented, I think Japanese they are good in fermented food. So this fermented wheat actually come in to study of a Japanese professor, and that come to the picture. It actually helped the immune system.
Okay, and why fermented wheat specifically, Lee? I mean, rather than let's say fermented barley or fermented rice, which Japan has a lot of.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think these three professor, or I would think the three professor, they have studied this so-called whether it's fermented wheat or whether fermented rice or fermented any barley like what you say just now, and they have studied for more than 20 years, and they found that fermented wheat extract can get a better through their research. It can extract a better IPPA1 in terms of quality and efficacy. These three professors, namely the Professor Mizuno of Tokyo University, Professor Soma, also from Tokyo University, Professor Inagawa, spent more than 20 to 30 years to just study this in their research. And actually, beyond their university time, means after they graduated or after they no longer serving the university, they still continue, and they find actually a lot of new things can be found from this IPP1, especially through the techniques of extractions that patented by themselves from the wheat. Actually, it's really fantastic as compared to other ferment. I mean, because you can, people say IPPA1, I can extract from other things also. Yes, but the quality of it and the efficacy of it, totally a lot of difference. Okay.
and from what you're saying, therefore, Lee, I mean, Japan is known for a lot of traditional and usage and all that. But this technology, from what you're saying, seems to be quite new technology. Is that right?
I think the technology has been there for at least the past 10 years because they patent it. That's why they could extract a very good quality of IPPA1. Study of IPPA1 started 20 or 30 years ago, where they start to find that IPPA1 is actually good to so-called strengthen the immune system, but to extract is another technology. So the extract technology, they spend another years, a few years more to study, and then they keep on find more clinical study through the this IPPA1. So they actually justify their finding is correct.
Okay. All right. And for those people who may not be familiar, Lee, what exactly are beta glucans? I'm sure everybody knows what is vitamin C, but what about beta glucan? What
Beta
specifically are those?
Actually, beta glucan is another ingredient that actually would help to boost our immune system. Particularly nowadays in the market, there are the people taking beta glucan as well. But in terms to make the beta glucan to be more effective and more have a better efficacy, we put it together with IPPA1 because beta glucan is already, I think, it's not something new to the market. It's
Yeah.
something that actually some people are using it for immune system already.
Okay. So from what you're saying, Lee, it looks like Shiruto is actually 3-in-1, three compounds that boost immunity: vitamin
Yeah,
C, beta glucan, and the fermented wheat, the IPPA1.
yeah, you're right. Yes,
IPPA1. Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So it's triple effect, to boost.
I would say that it's a synergized effect.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether it's triple or quadruple, whatever, that is very depends on the human beings whoever take it. But I think the synergized effect make the three things together really can see the efficacy in a very short spell of time.
Right. So, Lee, you have been mentioning the word efficacy a few times. So I'm presuming that some clinical studies have been done. Has any been done in Malaysia
Not
or
at the
maybe overseas?
not at this moment in Malaysia because our Shiruto, particularly okay, we talk about separately about vitamin C and beta glucan. That don't need clinical study. I think that is the market have many of the data about that. And this IPP1 has been explored by these three professors. They have done a lot of clinical study in Japan. Even they have presented in some of the conferences in Japan as well. So over the past 10 years, there's many papers proven that. That's why when I started to look at this product, I very particularly like to read or like to appreciate what do they know, what do they have, what did they have done? I mean, have they done about the clinical study of the ingredients itself, IPPA? And it's to my surprise, it's rather convincing that many kind of things they have done. Of course, in Malaysia, we don't really continue to do because the professors are all in Japan. So since there are many clinical studies done already, so we just adopt it and then we just share with whoever would like to know.
Yeah. Okay. So, and based on these studies, Lee, who are the people who would be suitable to consume Shiruto?
Everyone from the kids, adult, and the elderly, no worries. It's a food. It's a functional
Okay.
food. So it's not something that medicine. So it's a functional food. So it's a food. So actually, anybody can take it. Yeah.
Okay. And because it is food, and any age group can take this, is it to be added with food, Lee, or is it to be mixed with water and just drunk?
Actually, there are many there are many kind of way of taking it by the people itself, not really suggested by ourselves.
Mhm.
Of course, we suggest is to just directly take it and don't need to mix with water, just because it's a powder form. It's quite easy to be absorbed by our body. But
Right.
of course, there are people tend to like the taste and then they put in the water and mix it with water. I mean, this is personal preference lah. I was thinking the personal preference, but to us is you can directly take off the sachet and just pour the powder into your mouth and just take it, just
Oh,
swallow it. I think that is the fastest ways and the most easiest way lah.
okay. So is that the same recommendation for children as well, Lee?
Yeah, they
To
take it
directly consume?
yeah, they just take it like I don't know, they take it like a sweet or something like that because sometimes in sachet form, powder form, some of the things that are candies the father and mother will tend to give
Right.
them that form. So not really a challenge to a kids to take it in that way.
Okay. Is it flavored, Lee?
The blue is blueberry flavor.
All right. Okay. Blueberry. No wonder kids would probably find it
Yeah.
palatable. Huh?
So, you'll be surprised that some of our customer kids will tend to look for it instead of the father ask them to prescribe it. So actually, they take it as like their daily intake kind of thing. So they have the desire or the intention to take the products more often than anybody.
Yeah, so it makes it easy for mothers rather than struggling with getting kids to eat
Yeah,
vegetables.
sometimes want to get the kids to take the supplement is
Yeah,
such a very challenging task.
yeah, and you've just made it easier for everybody actually.
Exactly.
Um, and also, Lee, um, some of the I mean, whoever's watching this recording now would probably see the product box, the Shiruto product box, and on the box there is this word B lids. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Please
Yeah,
correct
you're
my
right.
pronunciation if it's wrong. What does that mean, Lee? B
The
lids.
B-Leaks itself, actually, when we started to put B-Leaks, in BE, there are a few category of products. There are pens, the Aurora pens. We also got a FMCG product we call Young series. And all the health, food, and wellness products we put in under B-Leaks. B-Leaks is our so-called brand name, the big brand name for all the health products. And Bilix originated also from the Greece word, uh, sounds like a sun also, the Bilix. So we're gonna bring the hopes to everybody. So hopefully the Bilix series can bring wellness to more people.
Right.
So Bilix is because under Bilix besides we have the Shiroto, we also have our Bifil, we have our Zenkoso, we have our Magnific, the collagens. So these are all the health food wellness series.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So again, the concept of the sun comes in as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Ali, what made you decide to introduce Shiruto in Malaysia, and of course in the other parts of the world as well?
Because first thing is that I always since the first day in the industry, I always find that the best doctor for our own self is our immune system. I will find if we can take care of our immune system, then practically we should be able to handle many diseases or sickness, which is frequent one. So I would think that immune system is something vital for our body. So when we set up the company at the time, I've been looking at a good immune system products. Of course, as what you say now, vitamin C also is an immune product, beta glucan also is the same. But again, I will find something is more interesting and more so-called natural that can actually blend our body very well, blend into our body very well. Then I come across my Japanese counterpart, and then I start to ask them because as I think you know that Japanese are quite a long age kind of
Yeah.
people. They can live until 90 years old, 100 years old. They must have their secret, I think. So I tend to always ask my Japanese counterpart, do you have any good immune system products that or ingredients that you can actually propose to us? Then my counterpart in Japan suddenly bring me up. Hey, if you have interest, then why not share with you this IPPA one? So something is very interesting to me, and how's the mechanism work to boost our immune system? It make me very anxiously to bring this one to everybody in Malaysia, in the world, because previously the IPPA on is almost they only within the Japanese circle or kind of nation they know, not really know, but actually not very aggressively being promoted. Until in our hand in Be International, we really make it really something is great, and actually is have many people have taken it and really agree with what we have offered.
Okay. All right. And I guess that once again, as I had mentioned earlier, also I think this COVID issue has, made people realize that immunity is so important. I mean, everybody has been waiting for the vaccine for 1 year, and only now is it coming up, and we don't even know when we will get it. So in the meantime, building our immunity becomes so important. And
Actually,
also there's, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Lee.
no, it's okay. You finish your question, yeah. Just now
Yeah,
you.
so I was just, thinking about everybody knows that prevention is better than cure, but we don't practice it so much. We would, there's a certain lack of discipline when we need to, do the right things, eat the right food, nutrition, in order for us to maintain health, rather
Yeah,
than, getting sick and then treating it.
it's
Yeah,
a
go
fact.
ahead.
It's a fact of life now that human beings tend to take whatever they love to take and not what they're supposed to take. And they love to do what they love to do and not doing what they're supposed to do. This is about maybe this is a fact of life already. I mean compared to us and younger generation now, I think they come across soft drinks, they come across fast food even earlier than what we have experienced. I think we only start to take fast food maybe at a later age, or we also not so easy to get fast food. At the time you really have to travel to certain place only you can buy. But now it's so easy. Younger generation is just online anything they just by the doorstep. And then all these things is deteriorating the health condition of people. And then that's why not people do not know about immune system, but sometimes tends to because overwhelmed by the news or advertisements and the lifestyle. There's so many things that actually hurting the immune system itself without we knowing it. And then in terms of educating about immune system, it's not very prevalent in the market. I mean, in our society, pretty this way. Not many people think that sleeping early, doing exercise, taking a right proportion of foods, fruits, vegetables in the right context. But for information, myself is a vegetarian since I'm a vegetarian for more than 13 years. So not many people understand why. Not say they don't understand, they know, but they would think that can I don't follow 100%? Can I just follow my heart to take the lifestyle I want to go through, the food I want to take? That actually indirectly hurting the immune system. And this pandemic coming, I would think that it really give a big alarm to the human beings that actually you can see a virus itself can really restrict so many things of our life. Our life totally changed. Not only our daily life is also affecting the economy and of course our friends' health condition. You can if you have friends who have infected by the COVID, you can see it's really not a good experience at all. Total not a good experience. Very risky. Some of the people really have a so-called danger to their life as well. So this pandemic actually have so-called re-emphasized to a lot of people that, or reminded a lot of people that actually immune system is so important and critical to get us sustainable to go beyond.
I like that word, Lee, that you just mentioned, sustainable, because I think that's where a lot of people are missing out, they are doing things which are unsustainable, as you say, fast food and, sodas and all this kind of stuff. And it's good to know that you have highlighted that. I don't know whether this is a generation thing, a modern thing, that people want convenience, fast, everything, the easy way. And it's good to know that Shiruto comes in sachet form. So once again, it makes life easy. Just tear and, use it whichever way that you want. That's great. And I just want to move on to something very interesting that I have also found out about Shiruto. You have actually Shiruto has won an award in 2019. Tell us about that, Lee.
It is a award that organized by this Singchiu and backed up by the Ministry of Health because they got a panel of these examiners or rather than panels advisors, and mostly consists of pharmacists, nutritionists, and Ministry of Health officers. to check it out, which other products or which are the health brands in the market actually is contributing to goodness and wellness to the Malaysia in particular form lah. So this Malaysia Health and Wellness Brand Award for nutrition supplement category, we got it in 2019 for Shiruto. I think the panel was quite impressed with the IPPA one as well. That's why we got the award.
Yeah, so Lee, I think that's a confidence booster for Shiruto, because I'm sure people will feel, okay, since the Ministry of Health was also involved, and healthcare providers like pharmacists and doctors were also involved in awarding and recognizing Shiruto for its nutritional benefits. That's great to hear that the Malaysian Ministry of Health was also involved. And I also see that you have an award from Japan, I guess. This, am I pronouncing it correctly? Chitra Award?
Yes.
CIITRA.
Yeah, I think I was invited to Chitra presentations about 2 years ago. I think in 2019, if not mistaken. I was invited to give a topic on this because Chitra, the short form Chitra in a more details form is called Control of Innate Immunity Technology Research Associations, which is founded in 2010 by Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan. So actually, it's a recognized association by the Japan Ministry, and actually it's recognized by this district of Shikoku. I even know, if you know about Japan, there are 4 islands. One is the Honshu, one is the Hokkaido, one is the Kyushu, and one is the Shikoku. So Shikoku district, actually the local government endorsed this Chitra very well. So it means that if the products have a Chitra endorsement, it will be stated on the box of packaging of the particular products. And IPPA one is one of them. They're actually endorsed by the local government and of course the national ministry as well. And I was invited on behalf of B International to present about Shiruto in Chitra conference in 2019. And they are quite surprised. They are quite surprised that we could really promote to so many people about goodness of IPPA one. I think that time when I was on the stage to present that, I find myself as a proud Malaysian. Honestly. I mean, I was presenting in front of all the Japanese, and you just imagine all Japanese, they couldn't really understand my English. They need to get a translator, so-called. I give a brief one about they were surprised that as a Malaysian company, you really have reached the stage of the understanding of immune system that you want to make sure the wellness of people in Malaysia or beyond Malaysia to enjoy the goodness of IPPA one.
Okay, and Lee, my geography. Normally, I'm pretty good at geography, but I think I need you to remind me. Shikoku, is that the southernmost main island?
Southernmost is the Kyushu.
Kyushu, okay.
Yeah. So there are 4. The highest one, the northern part one is the Hokkaido. Honshu is the biggest one, which Tokyo and Osaka inside. And below the Honshu, there are 2 islands. One is the Kyushu, which is the most southern, and Shikoku is considered a bit south from the center.
Oh, okay, all right. And just out of curiosity, Lee, which part of Japan do all this, people who live beyond 100 years old come from?
They come from, according to the study, they come from this island called Okinawa. Okinawa tends to have the longest life person. Okinawa is on the southern part, near to the Kyushu.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting to know. Lee, I just wanted to something has bugged my curiosity for so long. You are an engineer, I'm sure a lot of people who are listening to this are trying to figure out, okay, here's an engineer who is talking healthcare. So first of all, just to satisfy their curiosity, what type of engineer are you, Lee? Your educational background.
My main engineering is called civil engineer. But my major is in the geotechnical engineering.
Could you say that again, Lee? What
Geotechnical,
engineering?
civil is the main one, and geotechnical is the sub major one.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So geotechnical, is that correct? Geotechnical?
Yeah, geotechnical. Yeah.
Geotechnical. And what made you, decide to move into healthcare? Did you have some kind of epiphany while you were practicing as an engineer to do
Yeah, I would,
this?
the story goes back very long way when I was secondary school and I studied biology and physics and chemistry at the time. I'm so-called love lover. I love to study science. So science in terms of chemistry, physics, biology come to me is something is a very interesting topic. And I end up to be an engineer because it's also science. But biology is also science. I never say rejected about knowing more about the what happening in our body. Sometimes I tend to understand why our body behave like this, why I get sick. All these things you start to understand about own self. Then I find that immune system, this kind of thing is something is our shield in our body. So start to get approached by healthcare products. I think most of us get approached by vitamin C initially. A lot of people take since the small time the parents will ask us to take vitamin C more. So from there we start to understand about micronutrients. I start to study myself. I think the advantage of being an engineer is that we look at facts and figures. We look at facts and we understand whether the facts justifiable or not. And then we can always look for research paper. We can always read some and appreciate the wisdom or the knowledge behind that. So from there, I understand that our body need micronutrients because we are taking macronutrients, which is carbohydrate, proteins, and fats. And we need the micronutrients to metabolize all these things. So micronutrients then will come to the picture to make ourselves more efficient, our body function more efficient. So I think that it's something good to humans. So I'll think that I should spend more time to come venture to this healthcare industry. So that's why bring me from engineer to become the engineer of biology.
I like that. So now you have pivoted into biology engineer. that's a nice way of looking at it. No, Lee, you just brought up an interesting word just now, micronutrients. A lot of people just focus on macronutrients. They just look at the proteins, carbs, fats, and there's so much of obsession with fats and oils and
Yep.
calorie counting. They forget about the amount of vitamin C you take or beta glucans, and as you are saying, IPPA1. These are things that people don't, dig down. You need a microscope to go into there actually, rather than just using your naked eyes to look
Yeah.
at the burger and the chicken and the vegetables and so on.
Yeah.
And I think you're right, Lee, that micronutrients probably are far more important than the macronutrients.
Yeah.
What's your thought about that, Lee?
It's like a car. You're talking about a vehicle. You got a tire, you got a shell of the vehicle, you got a steering, everything. But if you don't have the lubricants, the tire also become meaningless also. You have a tire, but it cannot move smoothly. Okay, so micronutrients tends to be like lubricants for our body. It helps us to make the bigger things move around. So it's play a very important part. That's why micronutrients, I always say, we always take micronutrients. A lot of people say we take from vegetable, take from fruits. Yeah, that's perfectly correct. Nothing is wrong. But unfortunately, the fruits and vegetable we are taking now is most of the time processed or fully cooked. And a lot of micronutrients is already not that large amount inside that particular intake. So we have to keep highlighting this part to people that would like to listen. I think educating people that we know need patience and need times.
Yes, and it's a great analogy, Lee, that you mentioned. Micronutrients are like lubricants. The same way lubricants make all the gears and wheels all move, micronutrients make our cells function. And that's where I think the focus needs to be rather than the top level macronutrients. we need to look at the micronutrients. And I think you also brought up a very interesting point, which is that a lot of people, I've also given lectures, and usually I get pushback, especially from elder people who say that I don't need, supplements and all this kind of stuff because I get everything from the food I eat. But you have just brought up an interesting point that the food we eat today is not the food that we were eating when we were kids, or our grandparents were eating, because there is a lot of processing. And I guess, I don't know, would you say that pollution is also another issue?
For instance, you're taking you want to take a vitamin C from an orange. The orange is not in Malaysia. The orange is maybe in Australia, or maybe in another part of the country, maybe in USA. So once the orange been plucked from the tree, the vitamin C start to reduce. And when during the transportation, during the heat, during everything, reach your mouth, don't say reach your doorstep yet. The amount of vitamin C inside the orange is how much actually is very less. It's not even enough for you to take. But vitamin C is important to our body because our body don't generate vitamin C. We need to take it. So again, these are the things that one of the example that way. And then put it this way, if talking about elderly people, I tend to agree, and I would say that I can almost 100% agree with them, is that they don't find taking nutrients important, because since their last time in their older days, the lifestyle they go through, the food they're taking is totally different dimension now. Last time, older people sleep at 9 o'clock, wake up at 5 o'clock, wake up at 6 o'clock. Then they really do exercise, because their work is not sitting on a table and do the paperwork. They are going to the field, they go to the rubber, become rubber tapper, they go and sell, they go and do fishing. This is very, so sometimes putting a lot of energy to mobilize their body. I mean, every day doing that. And then the timing they take the breakfast, lunch, and dinner also is quite consistent. They don't like nowadays the human beings. Sometimes they miss the breakfast, sometimes they miss the dinner, or sometimes they take the dinner during supper time. It is all haywire now. So it's not the same lifestyle. And then the food you're taking in, last time the chicken you're getting the chicken now is from grocery, you get from a supermarket. Last time the chicken orderly is just the backyard. The chicken is just the backyard only. They grow their own chicken somehow at the kampong, am I right? And then sometimes the egg they're taking is the egg laid by their own chicken, not the egg they bought from the supermarket. There are so much of different now. So much of different. So the elderly say, I tend to agree with them, because that was the lifestyle they gone through. And that is the one that make them sustain until now. They are still healthy. So the older people, they're still healthy. You just imagine the younger generation at 20 years old and less than 30 years old nowadays can tend to have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart attack, diabetics. You see, last time where got such kind of things happen to the elderly. I mean our elder generation. It doesn't happen. So we have to understand that the lifestyle change, the food they're taking in is different. That's why, of course, this is life lah. You can't really say, in that case, are you asking me to go back and stay in kampong? I'm going to work, live in kampong, then my life will be better. Then again, due to urbanizations, due to the world is getting more modernized, and the pace also faster, and the work style also totally a different thing now. Sitting on the table more time than walk about. You just imagine the exercise amount of exercise is lesser, and we can't avoid that, because this is the life that we are going through now. So only thing is to compensate or really rebuild whatever the damage done, or compensate whatever we don't do. These are things that we are doing now, actually.
So, to those who are listening just now, you may have heard Lee, especially if you're not a Malaysian, you would have heard Lee use the word kampong. Now, the word kampong is a Malaysian word meaning village. And what Lee was saying is that we have in Malaysia what we call kampong chicken, which basically means village chicken, translated literally, but it also means free-range chicken. And there's a movement now into free range everything, chicken,
Exactly.
cows, and everything. Even the vegetables, people prefer, grown in organic
Organic.
environments
Yeah.
without pollution and stuff like that. And talking about kampung or village, Lee, I come from a very small town, which is
All right.
Kuantan in
Oh, okay.
Malaysia. And now I am in KL, and I have got half a mind that when I retire to head back to a small town, maybe even a kampung somewhere, in a
Yeah.
quiet place. And you're right, because the lifestyle is so different. And I think you have just brought up another point, because for people who are listening to this, who think that, good health is a quick fix, just take something, drink or eat or, inject is going to change your life. I think Lee has just pointed out that it's not just nutrition, but also lifestyle habits of keep moving, walking and, doing stuff, moving your muscles and things like that. And of course, also Lee has mentioned, living in an environment which is low pollution.
Yeah.
So Lee, if we were if I were to ask you, what advice would you give to people who say, I get all my nutrition, including my micronutrients, from the food I eat? What would be your advice to them?
No, if you are quite sure of that, then I would like to know how sure are you? How sure are you that the source that you're taking is definitely enough nutrients? I mean, in terms of macro, in terms of micro, how sure are you? Besides that, do you really know that the processed food don't have other artificial or chemical ingredients inside? Unless you're buying from you're getting an organic one, then there's no question about it. If it's not organic, definitely it's inorganic inside. There's some. So what is inorganic things? It's very hard to find out unless you really drill down. Okay. So for instance, the chicken that we're taking, can you avoid the chicken don't have hormone? I mean synthetic hormone. These are all things you do not know. So again, that's why nowadays, like what James said, people try to go back to so-called the era to take the chicken, the freely run chicken, all these things from the villages. So you see, a lot of people recognize this thing nowadays. So if you say that the food that you're taking is enough, yeah, perception-wise, you find it is enough. But to me, I would tend to understand more or drill down more where the source of it, the food that you're taking, whether it's food, the whatever you know is enough for your body or not. Like as Song say, you take orange, you think that you take the vitamin C. You think you have a vitamin C. You can take 5 oranges a day. You think, I take orange, I got vitamin C. But how much vitamin C inside? Whether it's still available, and actually you're taking orange because left with fiber only and no more vitamins, because I think vitamins under the heat will get disappeared damaged. So how much vitamin C? You may say, hey, I got the juice now. I find I was taking the orange. I still can find, I can feel the juice of the vitamin, but this is only water. There's only water and the juice in the orange flavor, so called. Okay, but don't have vitamin C. Okay, so these are the things that how much is enough. You have to really know that how much is left in the food. Okay, whatever indicate there, for the point of productions at the end of the day that you're taking, the process take how long, and it must have lost certain numbers of concentration inside. That is no doubt about it.
Thank you, Lee. You just alluded to this concept of standardization, which a lot of people don't understand. And just to press home the view that you mentioned, when you talk about oranges, just to help the people who are listening to this video, if you go to a market and you buy 3 oranges, you just pick any 3, and you can see the size of the oranges are so different. And that would mean the content is also different. The content of vitamin C, each one is so different. So that's why standardizing or making sure, as Lee pointed out, you got to make sure that you take a certain amount of vitamin C. And sometimes, as Lee said, what the processing that is involved. You pluck the fruit, by the time it comes to Malaysia, we don't grow oranges here.
Yeah.
It has deteriorated. Who knows?
Yes.
how much is inside that fruit. And we tell ourselves, oh, I've eaten one orange today, so that's good. May not be.
Exactly.
And just to make sure, Lee, I mean, we started talking about Shiruto, but we have learned about geography or Japanese geography. We have learned about the Malaysian language or kampong. So we have learned quite a lot actually today from just examining Shiruto. But just to make sure that everybody understands correctly, is Shiruto where is Shiruto manufactured? Lee?
Shiruto is manufactured 100% in Japan.
In Japan. Okay, so it's basically from Japan itself. Okay, that's interesting to know. And finally, Lee, for those people who, after listening to you, are interested in Shiruto, how can they get their hands on Shiruto?
They can always sign up as our IBO, independent business owner, which is our customer, our Be International, and then use the member price to buy the products. And the buy the products is very simple. Once you join a member, you can always use our apps, and then you don't need to come all the way to office. Through the apps, buy, and then we deliver to your doorstep.
Right. Okay. So yeah, and I think that's important also, especially in this COVID situation. They
Yes.
don't have to move around. You will deliver to their doorstep itself. I think
Yes.
that's really important. And also, I think one point that people may not be realizing is now in this COVID, a lot of people may have lost their jobs as well. Huh? And this is, I think, you are providing an opportunity for people not
Yeah.
just to live healthily, but also to share the benefits of your products and earn legitimately as well
Exactly.
from there. Is that correct, Lee?
Yes, correct.
Is-
We have in fact during the pandemic since last year, our monthly members that joining us is about 6,000 monthly. Okay, but over the 9 months for the last since March until December, we have increased to about 8,005 per month, which is actually more and more people joining us. I either become a customer to take our products, but also a lot of them start to explore another opportunity because of loss of jobs, or maybe have a worry about their job securities, or maybe because those have been have pay cuts, and some of them because of the business can no longer carry on. They still need to find something to replace their income, and all this have actually come to the our business that we offer in Be International, which is the network marketing, which is called multi-level marketing, and really a lot of people gain what they are aspire for. They are homemakers coming to our network, like housewife, young housewife, homemakers, and also got the professionals, also got business owners, and really they find along the way of sharing the opportunity with the good products, they got the satisfaction of knowing their friends getting better of their health condition. Also, at the same time, they help a friend to get additional income as a part-time income, or another source of income, just in case anything happened to their main source of income.
Lee, this sounds very exciting, definitely. And what any final words, Lee, for those who are listening in as we
Yeah,
conclude this interview?
yeah, I would say thank you to Matsa for arranging this one. I would think that this is a very important platform avenue to share about not only goodness of the products, but the knowledge and awareness of taking our own health as a first priority. I think that is a very important message to everybody. Okay, of course, by sharing the good products, also let everybody know. Don't need to go wandering around and then you don't know which one is good. Then this is consider one of the best one, because Masa definitely have analyzed it. Masa definitely have looked into it. Then let us share about it. And then this is a very important platform, especially during pandemic time, or not even pandemic. I'll say the post-pandemic, which is in a new norm, people understand even more about the COVID-19, about the pandemic. Because today we may have We may have overcome COVID-19 with the vaccine, but as I say, in the future, there are still many kinds of virus. They may have a new threat to our human bodies. It's no doubt about it. Okay, after SARS, after H1N1, here come the COVID-19. Maybe you do not know. Maybe in the near future, another virus coming. We can't stop anything to come to our world, but we definitely can do something to defend ourselves to the best conditions, to prepare ourselves to face the possible attack, possible threat. And living a long life happily is very important rather than living a long life not so happy every day have to go see doctor. So I would think that taking own self health awareness is own self responsibility. Own self responsibility. We should really look into take up this responsibility rather than leave it to any other people.
Lee, so true, Lee. I'm glad that you ended with that statement that we all have to take responsibility for our health and not pass it on to the doctor or to the pharmacist or to our friends or whoever. Lee, thank you so much for joining us today to not just educate the people in Malaysia, but also people outside of Malaysia, because you are an international company, BE International,
Yes.
Beyond Eternity. And for those who are curious, as Lee mentioned, you can contact them if you want to know how to gain access to Shiruto. In the description box below, you will find a link to the website of BE International, and I'll also probably put in an email as well as a phone number for you to contact them if you need to, right? And please click the subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you will get notifications of new episodes that we release for this Natural Health with Nutrition and Supplement series. Thank you very much. Please stay tuned.